Welcome to GoHouse Estate Management CRM. Now, GoHouse Estate Management CRM is an application that is designed to help property owners, property managers, real estate companies manage effectively their properties, their processes, and tenant engagements within the company. Now, let's take a look at the application. To create an account, we have the create account page and details where any company can sign up to the service because it's a subscription based service as one model, and another model is the customized service, which is white labeled for companies with branding to tie into company brands, brand details. And so let's go straight into the sign-in process. The dashboard gives you an overview of the application and various reportings that are necessary just at a glance. And so on the dashboard, you have the total number of properties you have entered into the application, the total number of tenants who have been assigned to each unit in the properties you have, the total number of units will show you which units have been occupied and which units are available. It shows you maintenance requests that have come through, those that are pending, those that have been accomplished, and those that are urgent and need attention. On the tenants page, it shows you also the number of new tenants and then the renewals that are pending. Okay, the part of the summary reports you receive on the dashboard is the occupancy rate. This can be white labeled or customized to whichever reporting the client needs to see on their dashboard. We also have maintenance overview that gives an overview of maintenance requests that have come through. There's also payment trends that gives you information on payments that have been received, payments that are outstanding, and whatnot. It also gives you recent properties in that any property that is uploaded onto the platform as a property manager, you have access to see those properties and the units available for those properties. We also have information on upcoming lease expirations so that the company can work effectively to have tenants renew their leases on time without delays. Let's look at the property menu. The property menu gives you an overview of all the properties that have been uploaded onto the platform for the user cases. So there are 4 user levels for the GoHouse application. We have the admin, the company admin user level, who has the overall oversight over user management and other features that other users don't have access to. We also have the property manager, who is a manager for the company. So you can have multiple property managers depending on the number of properties you have and what your company structure is. And so over here, you see the properties that you have listed in the application that you would want to manage. All right. And so let's take a look at this property. And so by clicking on this property, it gives you the full view of the property and all the various details of the property. So it gives you the property name, where the property is located. It also gives you what type of property it is. It gives you the units available and what has been occupied, the number of rooms, number of bathrooms, and other details. You have over here the pictures of the property, which can be edited to suit your needs. It also gives you an overview of the units that have been created. So we have 3 units created here. So it gives you the average, the rent per unit, the area of the property, the rooms, the bathrooms, and what have you. And so let's look at the units. So this is gives you more details of the units within the property. So 3 units have been created within the property, and so over here you can edit the details out depending on whether your price point per unit changes, or you'd want to rename the properties. You have the ability to do all of that here. All right, now let's go to tenants. So this is the tenant management page where you have access to create tenants and assign them to the various units. So this is one tenant that has been created for unit 2. So you can view the details. There's a name, the picture, the contact details, the lease information, meaning the time the lease is set, and the rent amount, if any security deposit has been made, and then the status of the tenant. We also have emergency contact for the tenants, and then we have access to documentation. So tenancy agreements, payment receipts, all can be uploaded here. And so you have all of it in one place per tenant. Now you can add tenants as you receive requests for rentals of your property. And so it will show you available units. So these are 2 units that are available. So you'll be able to assign whichever unit you want. You enter the personal information of the tenants, the email address. The email address is essential because after the tenant has been created, an automatic email from the platform will be sent to the tenant's email address with login credentials for them to be able to log into the self-service portal for the tenant user. So in the tenant user self-service portal, they will be able to make payments for rent, other services offered by the property management. They will be able to view their tenancy agreements. They'll be able to have access to the chat platform to be able to engage directly with the property management or the estate management or company. And so that's essential that we enter the email address. We also enter the lease information, so the stats of the lease and then the end of the lease dates. If the security deposit, you can enter the amount of security deposit. You can also enter the rent per property for the unit. So the rent per unit allows the tenant to see what they need to pay. The emergency contact information is also there, and then you upload the profile photo of the tenant. You can also upload documents like tenancy agreements, ID cards, ID card pictures, and all of that on the platform, and it's linked to each tenant. Now let's go back to the properties. And so this is the same. You can add multiple properties depending on whichever subscription model you are on. So you can add the property name, the address, the property type. You can add the number of units, the listing type, whether for sale or for rent, the monthly rent if it's for rent, description of the property, the number of bedrooms in the property, number of bathrooms, whether it's furnished or unfurnished, pets allowed, the year of build, total square footage, parking spots, property status, and then you can choose to upload the photos of the property over here. The units menu gives you an overview of the individual units for all the properties you have, so you can manage everything in one place. So you can sort by which units are vacant, you can sort by which units are occupied, and then you can sort by units which require maintenance depending on the status of all the units. You can also sort by property types. So depending on which properties you've uploaded, you can sort out and see the units under those properties. And so you have access to all this information, and then you can edit if you need to edit any aspect of these properties. The tenant management page also gives you a full overview of the tenants within your properties. So you can sort by the status, whether active, inactive, or pending. You can also sort by properties. So if it's this property, you need to know who is renting. You can sort all these properties out once you have tenants assigned to the units within the properties. Now, the maintenance menu gives you an overview of maintenance requests that have come from tenants or from the property management. And so you're able to see all the maintenance requests. You see the title, what the issues are that have been reported. You have the option to review them as a property manager. You have options to see which pictures are uploaded regarding which issues have been uploaded. And you have the option to edit these out if you need to update. So if the process has been completed, you can mark it as completed and then update the request, and then the status is completed. Now, whoever raised the request gets a notification on the completion or change in status of any maintenance request that is sent at a period. So at the top you have the general overview, the total number of requests, those pending, those in progress, those that have been completed. Now on the payment menu, you have access to see all the payments that have come through depending on the sorting. So whether it's for a particular tenant or for all tenants, once you've uploaded all the tenants and you are receiving payments through the application, you'll be able to see all these. Or if payments are done directly to the estate management office, payments can then be added manually based on the tenant, and then the statuses can be then inputted as far as the details are concerned. So payments can then now be added on the platform. In the reporting menu, we have access to reporting. You have revenue overview, you have property overview, you have maintenance overview, occupancy rate overview. And so essentially just a pictorial representation of reporting for the property. So you have monthly revenue performance, monthly payments performance, where you get to see payments that are done. So once you start receiving payments, all these graphs are going to change to reflect exactly what payments are coming through. Total number of units as against occupied units. You have a pictorial view here, maintenance request as well. You have a pictorial view, and then maintenance request in detail. So you get to see which requests have come through, what their priority levels are, and what the statuses are, if the maintenance team are actually doing their work. You can export reports based on time. So you can export reports as it were for your management meetings. Now the final feature of the application is the chat feature that allows tenants to communicate with property management, or property management to communicate with tenants. So once a tenant has been assigned a unit, there's access here for the property manager to communicate with the tenant. So an example would be so this will go directly into Erica Jesus' chat box, where they get to see real-time chat from the estate management. And so this feature is handy in communicating between management and tenants. Settings feature gives you an overview of the profile information. So you have access to edit the user information. You have access to set security settings, change password, two-factor authentication, email notification, login alerts, notification bits, new tenant alerts, payment reminders, maintenance alerts, lease expiration alerts, system updates alerts, and then preferences, choose language. You can set the format for the dates. You can set currency depending on what your needs are as a company. So that brings us to the end of our presentation on the property manager user level. If you have any questions, please feel free to send it through. Thank you.